Because everything I
I
keep
can't
turning
fix it
down
on
here,
your
I
end.
can't hear
It's your
you.
end. It's your end. Stop trying to put it off on somebody else.
Mm, mm, mm. Bruh, where do we go from here? Where do we go from here? I'm the first to admit there is a bias, especially when I participate, and I'm guilty. I was wrong. This is why you cannot judge a situation before the full story is out. What's good? It's your boy, Sir of the 2020 Podcast LLC. Please say
Please say the
the LLC.
LLC.
Yeah, all that. And today you might notice I'm in the lounge, cuz you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, feel me.
You know what I'm saying? Got a little cigar sign behind me. You know, I don't smoke cigars, but I got my vape pen right here. You feel me?
Hey, you feel me? All right here too. We got smoke today. Sir got smoke today.
Yo, but we got to cut back to business, man.
Yes, sir.
This story here, in case you didn't know, involving the incident at the hot dog stand with the young lady. What's her last name? Last name Mallory.
Good.
Good. Wow.
Hood. Man. No, Hood.
Hood. Mrs. Hood and her son. The charges have been dropped.
Dropped
to the prosecutor due to some evidence that was brought up. They saw the need to go ahead and drop the case. Now, in a situation like this, I'll be the first to say there are no heroes in this. This is terrible. Right. Let me make that absolutely clear before anybody gets offended. In a situation where life is lost, and not only is life lost, but the shooter is a 14-year-old. That's terrible. That's horrible. And the fact that this was at a hot dog stand, so it couldn't have been that serious. Let's just be honest. This was not a life or death situation. Goddamn, ain't no toppings hitting that hard that you got to shoot the motherfucker over. I'm just gonna be honest. Well, it depends on if they use chili Doritos. You know, it's kind of hard though. But jokes aside, we have to examine the situation and what was reported, and that's why I wanted to come up here today. I have no problem with you defending your parent. Let me make that absolutely clear. If you see your parent being assaulted or any member of your family being assaulted, step in by all means. I get it. We're raised like that. But if you fire a gun hitting the victim, and then they're trying to leave, and you are instructed, I repeat, you are instructed to follow and finish the job, that's murder, my boy. That's murder. That's murder, cuz. The situation is over when they're shot and they're trying to flee. Emphasis on the word flee, right. Meaning trying to escape.
Right.
And why, for the love of me, for the love of God, we already don't want your children involved in shooting, but you're going to send your kid to finish the job, bro? Like, do you really give a fuck about your kid's life? And then not only that, at the end of this report, it states that the kid had to wrestle the weapon away from the mom because she wanted to shoot the motherfucker that thought it was funny. Now, I'm not saying
it was. I think they said that it was his girlfriend, the victim's girlfriend.
That's why I don't see why she would think it's okay. Let's be 100. I don't subscribe to the idea that two wrongs make a right. You know what I'm saying? Two rights don't make a left, whatever the fuck you go for. But in this case, even if that was the case, you can't follow up and try to shoot somebody because you feel embarrassed or you feel, you know what I'm saying? Like, under no situation is that okay. I'm sorry. I'm not subscribing to that. But that's what I got smoked with today, man. That's why I'm here. That's why I'm here to talk my shit. I'm here to defend myself. And Black, you and I talk about that a little bit further because I'm sure that conversation will come into it. But I want to know what y'all think, man. This shit, I don't like it.
Well, look, let me ask a question real quick because I don't know the entire story. I'm just catching a lot of it now. When they say that he was wrestling the gun, and I agree. Well, first let me start off with saying I 100% agree with what you said, 100%. But just for some more context, and not that it makes it right in any way, because like I said, I'm still trying to get the whole story. What was there any witnesses there? Like, why was he trying to wrestle the gun away from mom? Like, was there a struggle with the gun with her and the other person? Like what? Why was that? Why was there a gun brandished in the first place? Does anybody know that?
Well, this is what I'm gonna allege. You know what I'm saying? So let's just say allegedly.
Keyword.
Allegedly. Let's say allegedly.
So the 14-year-old walks in, shoots the guy. The guy tries to run off, goes outside with the gun, and at some point, the mom, the son were in close proximity of each other, and the mom like, fuck that. You think that shit was funny? I told you, bitch, I'll fuck you up too. Whatever it was said. And the mom and the son was tussling with the gun because the son was probably like, Mom, no. Like a cooler head was prevailing. Like he was being logical in the moment. I could see in the video how the son was like, got thrown into that situation and he
wasn't. So that's what I'm asking. So he initially wasn't wrestling the gun away because the other people were trying to get the gun from mom. That's what I'm trying to get. Like, were they trying to get the gun and turn it on her? That's what I'm asking.
No. It wasn't like no. Everybody dipped up out of there. I must play the video again too to show a little bit. But so if you guys did not get a chance, please go back and watch the live we did last night, the initial live. And just like Sir said, it's kind of hard to make an opinion when you have limited information or the information isn't ready available. Even just like right now, it's not available why they lifted the charges other than the fact that a video arose. You know what I'm saying? And let me say this, though. When I heard the story, it gave me one connotation. And then working in law, one thing I do know is video always magnifies it. So, of course, it magnified it. So when I saw the video, I clipped it, put the video in the middle of that newscast so we could see it all in succession. And it does make it that much more sensationalized. Just like why you don't think they show what goes on in the war overseas on our real news, like because then we would understand what war really looked like in the United States, not to know what war really looks like. So video always magnifies it, and so when they saw that video, I think the emotionalism just surged, and that's why I had smoke with this yesterday, big smoke, but now I got Smokey, you playing with my emotions, smoke about this right now, because now I'm looking at Sister Girl, who's the Attorney General, and she like, oh, we can't prosecute this. People that I know, I've seen them go on live today, women, and they didn't see nothing wrong with what she did. Nothing at all. Like they were saying, there's no way in the world they could have prosecuted this. And in my mind, I'm like, I've seen several instances where you can shoot somebody in self-defense, which I thought it was defense, all the way up into the point where you decide to follow an imminent threat. Your life was no longer in danger.
That was what my initial question was. So there's no video showing that mom is in any imminent threat at any point.
Well, she was in imminent threat when he was hitting her. So that's why people are justifying the defense claim. Which I looked at the law. I looked at the Chicago law, and if a person is committing a battery on you, then you can use that force. Now the force needs to be reasonable force. Now that's always a question in law. What's reasonable? That's where the jury come in and ask what is reasonable. Now the question is, was it reasonable for to be shot over a fist fight? A lot of people are saying because it's a woman involved, it changes dynamic, but that's not the law, because the law don't say if it's a woman and a man, but you can factor that in because man is bigger than a woman. But if y'all look at that video, stop it, that woman is the same size as that dude.
But see, the thing is though, you know, with that situation and many others, it gets really gray when when the woman or whoever the person, it doesn't necessarily have to be her, when it says, what reasonable force is, it gets gray when someone says, like an attorney will instruct her to say, my I felt my life was, was an immediate danger.
Right. And if a reasonable person thought that, then yes, force is necessary to stop the person. Now, let's be objective though. Let's not just be emotional. Let's be objective. Because take them 3 punches wherever they landed, she took them 3 punches. But look at her after that. Did she need any medical attention? Was she walking like she was wobbly, discombobulated, like she needed to go to the blue tent, like she had concussion or anything? No, it was none of that. She had enough presence of mind to point out to the son, hey, do this, do this, and do this. I'm not absolving bruh for that, bruh. If you get into a fight with a woman like that or any person, and then the law says that person, if you're committing assault and battery on them, that they can use force necessary to get you off of them, it is what it is. But when it comes down to being, if the threat is leaving and you go after him and you then further, there's a charge for that. Yeah. That's no longer self-defense. And like I said, I looked it up, and I'm going to show a little bit later where it breaks that down. But they totally overlooked all that. They all and that's what I have a problem, because whenever that happens to us as black men, and then they say, well, it was no more imminent threat, and then I was fearing for my life, and all the little catchwords, and we always end up on the tail end of that. And you telling me she wasn't culpable at all? Right. Like, so, Big Cat, what you think?
Well, we've been going over this for the last day and a half now. I just don't see, and I agree, he got a right to protect his mom, and I get that, because if had it been my mom, you wouldn't have left the building. I'd empty my clip on your ass right there, so you wouldn't have left the building. I wouldn't have to follow you outside. But since you fired one time, and now the person is now leaving the building, and he's outside, and your mom instructs you, and this is where it gets gray at, because she put him in a bad situation to jump off, telling him to bring the gun in there in the first place. That if you felt like you was doing that much, you should have went to the car yourself and got the gun. You don't put your child in a situation like that.
Exactly.
So that's
now
why I
you got
feel
this
like
young brother acting in an emotional state.
But that also shows you her presence of mind of how she was before the altercation and during the altercation, because, she was thinking about herself in that situation.
Because you could have easily went to the car yourself, but you too busy running your mouth in there. Whatever you were saying, don't nobody know. And I'm not saying it's right for a man to ever hit a woman. I get all that.
It's not right for nobody to hit nobody. Stop saying a woman.
I'm just saying that because that's who it is right now. But like we discussed earlier, when you're taking these classes that I'm taking, because you got to carry a concealed weapon, your mentality is to de-escalate any situation, all of them, period. I don't care what it is. De-escalate the situation. Just because you have a gun don't mean you can pull it and start shooting, period. So now my mind has been changed a lot, because I was one of them hothead dudes where I got one. You can catch one. I ain't tripping. But now I'm licensed to carry, and I don't look at situations like that no more. I really don't care what nobody say. I leave the situation because it can get bad on both ends right now, real quick. Somebody gonna lose their life and somebody gonna go to jail over what? Some words. You know what I'm saying? And it's just
and then nobody wins.
Yeah, nobody wins in this situation. The lady's gone. Hood is out. I don't know if her son is still in there, but I'm pretty sure he has to. Somebody still needs to be in jail. You cannot walk out of the situation with nobody being in jail.
Well, that's what the situation that we're in. And then when you say you can't do that, well, yes, some people can. We can't do that. We can't do that. And that's where my smoke come in at. Because we can't do that. Because me and you got into a fight. And I call sir out the car, and sir come in and see you jumping on me, and he shoots you, and you run off, and sir walk after you and shoot at you a few more times, and then I come outside and say, shoot this nigga too for talking shit, and you telling me that they're gonna drop all the charges?
Hell no.
And we know that. So now let's not act like that. Let's just say what it really is.
Like I said, excuse me for not catching all of this. I mean, it looks like I pretty much got the gist of it, but there is, I'm assuming charges are being dropped because, the claim will be this was an act of self-defense. I mean, that would be the only reason you could drop charges.
That could be the only reason you drop it.
Reasonable explanation.
But then the self-defense flies out the window when you followed him outside.
So in the video, but before it got to that point, before we followed him outside, did she have her firearm out prior to this other guy unloading on her, like hitting her? Did she
was in the car.
No, it was in the car. She texted her son and told him to bring it in there.
I got you. Okay.
So the rundown, just to recap real quick.
During while they were arguing, she's texting her son this.
Yes.
Right.
Okay.
While they were arguing, because it started off with a full-blown argument. While she's arguing, she sent him a message in the car. He comes out and stands in the doorway, and he's just watching the situation. And that's when the gentleman got a little bit more intense. He was saying, yo, keep talking, and on my grandma, I'm gonna knock you the fuck out. I'm gonna knock you the fuck out. And he swung and started hitting her. And then that's when the son, you saw him struggle getting it out the little pocket in the front of the hoodie. Then you hear the gunshot go off. Now, the second video is the outside video. That's what I didn't see, where he followed the gentleman. And, you know what I'm saying, that's where that gray area happens, where I just can't condone it, bro. Under any circumstance, you following somebody, even if you felt he was going to the car to get something,
can't even do that.
I'm just trying to get in the mindset.
That's intent right there. You're trying to double tap him at that point. Your intent is to kill somebody.
That's premeditation.
Yeah,
that's premeditation. Look, up until the point where everybody can agree that up until the point where dude decide to disengage and walk out, I don't want to hear nobody arguing that shit. That ain't got shit to do with what we talking about.
Yeah, that's
because for real, because he was supposed to get what he was supposed to get. Yeah. You really ain't supposed to fight no woman because you know you're gonna be in an emotional state when you. That's why when women try to sit there and say, "Men, why do you shut down?" Women, this is why, because men cannot do with you what they could do with other men. If that been two men, it would have played out different. You know what I'm saying? But being that it was a woman, it is different. Let's just say it is different. Let's stop acting like everything is straight across board, blank slate, everybody even, so that way we can always use this when we want to. Nah. Nah, it is different when you see a man assault a woman. It's different. It hit different. So yeah, all the way up until that point, we agree. But now the law for sure say you can't go walk a person down. You can't walk a person down. I don't care who it was. When it happened to Trayvon Martin, when it be happening to any of these people, we'll be talking about how wrong that is. And so my thing is, my beef ain't necessarily with old girl. My beef is with how they treat us black men. That's where my beef at. Because the rules is always cool for somebody else, but when it come to us, it's all bad. Y'all want to say the most unprotected is something else? No. We're the most unprotected, and this shows me that, and that's why I got smoked with this. No other reason, not because old girl got off, not because these women celebrating it, none of that. I'm just mad because we get treated the way we do, and then people get oblivious when it comes time to see what the facts are. And the facts are that that's what happened. Like I was not arguing, we was discussing earlier about how this went down, and I would say over 68.2% of the women is like, yay. Talking about, oh, he went in there for a Philly cheesesteak, but he came out with wings. But they got hella mad at me when I said, hey, why don't the Little Mermaid go find the little ship that sunk? I'm saying these double standards that we keep trying to avoid, they pissing me off. I know that's funny, right?
I mean,
and so
I just can't get over this woman, not having, and listen, I know we all, sometimes make decisions that aren't the smartest in the heat of a moment, especially when you got emotion involved and adrenaline, et cetera. But I mean, as a mom, I mean, a child that you brought into this world, like how could you not think, I mean, from beginning to middle to end, like how you were potentially affecting like this young man's life, like the rest of his life at the age of 14.
Like
that's what's mind-boggling to me.
Like imagine, like the shit that nobody's talking about is what if, hypothetically, God forbid this would have happened, but what if she sent him to walk after the nigga, right? He goes, let's say he had somebody waiting outside. Let's say he was not alone. Right. What if he had a car full of niggas and they see their partner shot and they see a dude with a gun in his hand follow him? They're gonna eat his ass up.
Yeah. Right.
Like this shit could have been.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It could have went a whole nother route. And
or what if the kid fumbled the gun, dropped the gun, and the dude grabbed it and shot the kid and the mother? Anything, right? Yeah. So you wouldn't like. I hear this from women. Women were saying, "Why would you put your kid in that position?" And coming from a mother, I could see why she would say that. You know what I'm saying? Why would you put your kid in that position?
Did this mother know these people?
Mm-mm.
So this was an argument just based on being in a hot dog stand.
Strangers, my boy. Strangers.
That was at a damn pizza shop.
I mean,
and we always say stuff like, well, does a fight justify killing somebody? Not really. Not really, because even though dude hit her, she got to go walk away easily. She didn't. That wasn't no life or death situation.
Give out. Not only that, she got to walk out. She got to walk away, and then proceeded to give out further instructions.
Right.
All right.
So objectively, that's not a life or death situation. Objectively.
Well, I gotta object. Hold on. Let's pause that. I can't agree with that. Let me say this why. Because in a moment of fear, not saying she wasn't afraid, because a lot of people pop off when they're really scared. In a moment of fear, when you're balled up, because if you look in the video, she's not throwing hands back. She's balled up in the corner getting hit.
Right.
If you're in that position, you're afraid. And when you're afraid, I don't know what you're capable of. You know what I'm saying? Like people who are afraid of dogs. That dog ain't gonna bite you. I don't know. I'm afraid. So I can't speak as much as I don't want to. I can't speak on her behalf and say that she knew he wasn't going, you know what I'm saying, hurt her for real. Or kill her,
no. Yeah, no. So would it be safe to say then anytime you have a fight, you can say that then?
Yeah. That's the fucked up part.
So okay, let's stay right there then. What we do know is when there's a gun, you don't bring a gun to a fist fight. You know what I'm saying? Like, we know that they're not the same. They're not the same. Fist fight and gun is not the same. Right. And I do understand that there's a fear there, but like in reality, we know if two people are using hands, then okay, the advantage goes to the man because he's stronger. But like I said, let's look at this video. It ain't like
summoned her 14-year-old at 116th and South Halstead, and then things started heating up.
The argument between the victim and the defendant turned 3 times.
Oh my God! I said one thing when I came out.
Oh no, this video don't show. They don't show it, but they both approximately the same height and the same weight, right? And I understand that he's stronger naturally because he's a man, but that is not necessarily a life death. In the fetal position on the ground, he was stomping her out. Then I could see that. I can see that.
Well, hold on.
But I agree with you, though.
To be
You
fair,
don't know.
though, she is. I mean, just from what I can see in this video, like I hear what you're saying, but it ain't that much different with the fact that she's in the corner with nowhere to go.
Right.
Okay, so if me and you were in a fight right there, right? Two men in a fight. You telling me that if I got up and put a gun and shot him, that's justified? Well, no. Well, in the court,
no. I'm not saying that at all. No.
But according to Chicago law, you can though.
That's my point. That right there is my point. You just said it. I'm not going against what we believe, what we know to be true. What's what the law upholds is if they're doing something felonious, and you're defending yourself.
Yes.
Deadly force.
You can use deadly force. You can use deadly force. So but they try to say me force with force though. But in this situation, I can see why deadly force might be acceptable, right? Especially when a little kid walk in and seeing his mom being attacked, right?
Right.
I can get that. But y'all, we saying no charges. She had a concealed weapons permit, but the gun was unregistered. Let me add that to it. Now, if we got into any kind of situation and the gun was unregistered, you think we're gonna walk away from that too?
Now, that doesn't mean that it's not gonna come back up, though. I will say that.
It ain't.
I think that will come back up because I don't think the family gonna take this sitting down. I don't think the family of the gentleman is gonna take this sitting down at all.
Let's bet 10 hours of editing time.
His family reacting to this.
I don't care what they say. Let's bet 10 hours of editing time, bro.
Look,
I bet you this won't come up ever again. I promise you.
That's a lot of editing time, goddamn.
Yeah, that's a lot of editing time.
You see me rubbing my chest? I'm like, shit.
Right. No, I don't think no, you're right though. It can come back. I'm just saying normally in these situations, it's not gonna come back because when you have the attorney general that comes out and say, there's nothing to, this is just like we couldn't find anything at all. You can try to fight that, but who are you to go against it? So it's just a bad situation. And they always gonna say he was the aggressor.
So she had a CCW. So she has a CCW. That's been verified, right?
Yeah.
So that means so for the most part, that means her sheet is relatively clean for the most part for it to be able to even get that in the first place. And she still thought that was the best solution to that situation is to put her 14-year-old son's life on the line.
Well, yeah. Yeah,
I mean,
ahead,
I'm only saying that because it's not like just somebody got a piece off the street, you know what I mean, and they got one for protection or whatever. I mean, she legit went through the proper channels of obtaining one, which means she most likely hasn't ever been in any serious trouble. Otherwise, she wouldn't have been able to get it in the first place.
That's true. That's true.
So,
yeah, she never been. She has no record. Yeah.
right.
Yeah, but
So,
I mean, like, I think I
she
could
had
see a
enough
mom.
sense to keep her nose clean up until that point. Like, so.
Well,
I
she just
mean,
get away with shit. She got away with murder right here. Go ahead, sir. And after that, I'll you can hit the
so
comments.
well, speaking of that, so wait, so if the charges were not dropped, you know, would you, who would you if you were the prosecutor in this situation?
Mama.
Who would you charge with murder?
Mama.
You gotta charge both of them. You gotta charge both of them, and then you make it. And what happened with it? What I would not like. The mom probably would get the bulk of the charge, and then the son would probably get a secondary charge because one they received was like instructing a minor, delinquency of a minor. So I would take that into consideration that I wouldn't give them equal punishment because for one, this child did what the mother instructed, like any child probably would have done.
Mm-hmm.
But that doesn't absolve you committing a crime.
Yeah. Right.
That's the whole thing. It don't absolve you from that. Like, I'm not saying you should get the book thrown at you, but what I'm saying is you don't walk out of there scot-free from, like I said last night, you went from first degree to no degree, and that blew my mind.
Right.
So, quick statement. Your girl Stretch was asking, what was it? What question did she ask? What does it say the law say about you being scared you get to kill or no? Fearing for your life is a legitimate portion of the self-defense. If you are in fear of your life and you are defending your person, yourself, you're good to go.
Or someone else.
Or someone else with you.
You ain't even got to be with them. It can just be someone else. Yeah.
Well, when I say with you, in the vicinity.
You always hear people say, I was fearing for my life. Because that's always that's the infirmable. Yeah, that's the affirmable defense for self-defense. I was in fear of my life. Like if you don't say those words, then it's not going to hit like that. It's very
hard for a jury to go against that because, as a, you know, depending on the evidence, obviously, but a lot of times it's like then it comes down to 12 people sitting in a room and saying like, or even the four of us sitting right here, like who are any of us? Like again, I have my own opinion about it, but truth is who are any of like us to say how do we know what was going through her mind? You know what I mean? We're not her. Maybe is it possible that she felt she was in imminent danger?
She probably did.
Like, yeah, definitely. It's hard to say. You know what I mean? Like,
but she put herself in imminent danger.
I'm not saying she didn't. And like I said,
then you gotta take that into
I'm also
account,
and I'm not justifying any of this, but what I'm saying from a legal standpoint, you really can't put yourself in someone else's shoes. Like I can say, yeah, well, I didn't feel I was in imminent danger, but just because I don't doesn't mean that she doesn't either.
Right.
But you know how they you want to know how they overcome that hurdle? This is what they do. They ask you, what would a reasonable, prudent person think? Because what would you think a reasonable, prudent person think in this situation? Because you don't necessarily know what's in somebody's mind.
Well, let me play devil's advocate for that.
But you can, but you can look at it.
Ask me that question.
Okay, I'm gonna ask you. But you can look at a person's action and can tell what their state of mind is. You can tell her state of mind when she told them to go after him and then go shoot the person for laughing. You can tell what a person's state of mind is act like that. Now you're asking, what is a reasonable, prudent person in this situation? And that's it.
Well, first thing being, it's very easy for all four of us to have four different opinions of what a reasonable and prudent person is. That's one. Your idea of a reasonable, prudent person may not be the same as mine. You know what I mean? It may not be the same. we could all have varying opinions of that. You know, do I believe that she was reasonable and prudent by texting her son, "Yo, get the gun, come in here"? No, I personally, no, I don't. No, I don't.
Right. And that's why you have a democratic vote, because you don't know because what might be reasonably prudent for you might not be. So what you got to do is say majority rules.
But the thing is when you convict somebody, it has to be, the burden of proof has to be, technically speaking, right? It has to be 100%. There can be, you have to prove with, without no shadow of doubt, like there's no reasonable doubt.
Preponderance of the evidence, right?
You know what I mean? And there's just no way. I don't see from a legal standpoint, not a common sense standpoint, not a podcast standpoint. From a legal standpoint, there's no way that you could, you don't get convicted based on moral decisions. You get convicted or not convicted based on legal ones, and it's going to be impossible to, you know what I mean? You don't see people go to jail because they made a bad moral choice. You know what I mean? You see them go to jail because they made a bad legal choice, and legally, it's just really, really hard to prove, man.
Yeah, and let me show you how the reasonable, prudent standard will apply. If I was to ask what's up, Casey? Mr. One Down Wednesday himself. We got 5 men on here right now. It's reasonably prudent to believe that if our mom was in that situation and we walked in and we had a gun, we had access to a gun, that we would have shot him. A reasonably prudent person would think that I would shoot that person, right? A reasonably prudent person would think that is fine. But where it wouldn't be reasonably prudent is when you start chasing them. See, that's why we have the disparity, but they don't have that. Right. They don't have that option because they didn't even get charged.
Well, and like I said, I believe that the mom is wrong. But what is reasonably prudent to a 14-year-old child?
Okay,
caught up in an emotional state of mind. The kid just walked in. You know what I mean? He don't know what the fuck's going on. He sees mom. He says mom. He sees mom catching them hands from a grown man. You know what I mean? Like he gets a text, bring the gun. Like there's no he has no context of what's going on. You know what I mean? He just gets a text, so he somehow feels that, by reading that text that his mom sent him, that his mom is in a bad situation. His mom must be in a bad situation to be asking him to be bringing a gun into the store, right? I mean, would that be a reasonable assumption?
Well, yeah, and he didn't do anything out of the ordinary. Like anybody would have done what he done. So that's why I don't think that that part would have been an issue. But I do see what you're saying, because let's say, for example, he walked in and his mom wasn't necessarily getting hit at that time, right? And they were just arguing. And let's say the kid just walked in and started shooting. That's not reasonably prudent.
I get what you're saying. Let me give you a parallel a little bit. I mean, and like I said, I have my opinion about this. I don't agree with what I watched and what has taken place, and that there should not be consequence. But like, so, all right. So you're my brother, right? I can tell you right now, if you text me and you say, "Bro, I need you," I'm just the type of person that I am. I walk into that store, I'm not coming in to ask questions. You told me you needed me. That's all you know what I mean? Like to me, like, like for me, that's all I needed to hear. Like you felt the need to say that to me. So you feel some kind of way about whatever situation you're in. So I'm not necessarily coming in to play peacekeeper. You know what I mean? Like,
John Wick.
And again, we're talking about a 14-year-old kid too, but
Big John, that's not reasonable for you to come in and lay everybody down.
I'm not saying it is, but like I'm just telling you, I'm an arrogant asshole. So to me, I am being reasonable and prudent because I came to the conclusion that I'm reasonably walking in that door and I'm going to prudently take it to somebody. I'm just that's all.
I would hope that you would have somebody like me, Crutch, on the jury, so that way we can hang that motherfucker. Because you ain't gonna get off from that.
And look, and I fully know I probably would go to jail for it. You know what I mean? Like I said, I do know right from wrong, and there's been times where I have done things knowing damn right well they're wrong, and I still did them. You know what I mean? But it's so hard to, like, I mean, like I said, you know, to me, mom is on the hook more than the kid. Yes, he should know better, even though he's even though he's only 14. But like, that's a scary situation to walk in and well, first you get a text from mom, and then you walk in and you see some stranger. You have no idea what's going on. People just standing around, not doing nothing to help mom, and and now you just went from, you know, as this kid, you know, that's mom. Like, you just went from 0 to 100.
Yeah, and so that goes to the question that Stretch is asking. She said, "How is the boy being justified for shooting the gun? Delinquency of a minor told the child to grab the gun." So the thing about it is, like, if, like what Sir was saying earlier, like, if you see someone else in imminent threat or in imminent danger, you can take force necessary to stop that, no matter who it is. So the kid was within his right. The kid didn't even do nothing illegal, though. Even walking in any kind of way. I'm telling you, the only thing that happened that I would deem to be crossing the line is everything that happened after a person was trying to run away and getting shot twice in the back. I mean, like,
but hold on one second. Hold on 1 second. I know y'all was saying a lot. I know y'all probably said a lot before I came in. But well, being that I served in the Marines, hoorah, devil dogs. But being I served in the Marines, like,
hold on, before you say anything else, thank you for your service, bro.
Appreciate you, brother.
Yeah, thank you.
In that sector, you can go to jail for doing something morally wrong. Like, you could go to jail for, like, adultery. They'll in the brig. I've seen people go in the brig for adultery or whatever. But obviously, it's different in a civilian sector. You're not going to go to jail. Yeah, you're not going to go to jail for cheating on your wife. You know what I'm saying? You may go to jail in the public opinion. You know what I'm saying? Be called all kind of names. But as far as that, you won't go to jail. The only thing, and I put this in our podcast group, is that the more I was reading it, there are people saying that she never sent a text, and that I haven't seen the video yet, but people are saying, well, on the video you can hear her tell him to go back in the car. You know what I'm saying? Because my whole thing was, from what we was talking about the other night, was, okay, if she had time to text her son to get the gun, then she had time, you know what I'm saying, if she gonna get it, if she wanted to shoot him, to go ahead and get it herself. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know she wasn't texting him while she was getting, you know what I'm saying, punched, you know what I'm saying, in the, you know what I'm saying, in the face. And they have a video from they have a video from another angle, to where it doesn't even look like she's, you know what I'm saying, like she's even texting, you know what I'm saying, her son or whatever. So my thing is I'm trying to separate a 14-year-old me from a me now. You know what I'm saying? Because me now, if that was the case, I got a gun, you're not going to even make it out to run. You know what I'm saying? That's how I'm thinking. But then I'm like, as a 14-year-old, I don't know, you know what I'm saying, what, you know what I'm saying, I would have done. Because if I'm coming there to lay somebody down, it's not going to be, you know what I'm saying, in the pocket of my hoodie. You know what I'm saying? I'm coming that mug with my finger on the trigger, you know what I'm saying, ready to lay you down, or whatever the case may be. So my thing is, I told Black and Sir this earlier, I was like, I feel like it sets a precedence to where now if you get shot in the back, it ain't no slam dunk case anymore. They're gonna refer it to, well, remember the Hood versus such and such case where he got off for shooting a man in the back. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So to me, that sets a real shaky precedence, you know what I'm saying, for what they're doing by dropping all the charges on her, you know what I'm saying, and the son. Because now, if somebody punched me, I could say, well, I was in fear for my life, so I went ahead and clapped him a couple of times. You know what I'm saying? Well, you really can't do that. Well, Hood versus Illinois, or whatever how they would frame it, says that I'm justified to do that.
Yeah, that's why you better make sure you read up on your state laws because all states aren't the same. Because I don't know if that would have played out like that in California.
I saw this thing I wanted to ask y'all about on TikTok, and and I'm not citing TikTok as a credible source, but it was a conversation previously that kind of plays into this, and I'm gonna pose it to y'all, and y'all follow me for a second.
Mm-hmm.
We already know that fatherless homes are a thing, right? We can agree on that. There's this term going around. It's a new term called emotional incest, where women who raise sons are raising them and treating them and putting them in roles as if they are their man.
Yep.
Oh yeah, they say that's their husband now. I've heard it.
Right.
I've heard it.
They think it sounds cute. This feels like this could be one of them situations.
And she thought it was cute when she said it.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
This feels like one of those situations because if you a mom, and I'm not a parent, but every parent I've spoken to would not put their kid in that position, because let's look at it twofold. You in the pizza spot trying to get your food, whatever, you're arguing with this cat, and let's say hypothetically you did text your son, right? Or let's say your son is going to come in. Are you going to, at this point, you got two choices. You could stay and keep arguing with this fool, or B, you can just leave. But no, you see your son come up, there's a weapon somewhere involved in this situation. So you're going to potentially put your son in harm because he was going to jump in regardless, weapon or not, probably. And he was probably going to catch a mink too. So now, instead of being a parent, it feels like this is something someone does with the boyfriend. You know what I'm saying? Like expecting your boyfriend to take care of a situation, bro.
Right. He was her protector.
Right.
And she knew she could probably pop off at the mouth because she knew that she had somebody to back her up. Because like we were saying earlier, when men and women get into a dynamic of arguing and fighting with each other, and a woman has the ability to call another man to come in and shut it down, that's a win-win for her. Mm-hmm. She can say what she want, do what she want. And now it's legally, all she got to do is sit there and take a slap or two or a punch or two, and somebody can get killed over it. And I'm like, I didn't think people can like instantly just die over a fight, over a fist fight. I just didn't think that.
Yeah,
I mean, it's and the crazy thing about it is, and so a lot of people say, well, saying he got what he deserved. But I don't know if y'all ever saw these rash of videos between women where they're running each other down with cars.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Where they're running, and the only thing you see in those comments in those videos are, oh, that's dangerous. They shouldn't be doing that. They putting other people's lives in danger. They should have called the police. It ain't that shit. Why didn't they just drive away? Why didn't they, why are they putting themselves in harm's way by getting in front of the car and stuff like that? You know what I'm saying? When it comes to that, but now all of a sudden, the person is getting what they deserve, and he's the butt of many memes.
Right.
That's that's going around. So, I just think it just seems like this situation is treated differently from all the other situations that we've seen recently.
Yeah, for sure. Recently, for sure. And then the thing about it is, even if a man decides to walk away from that situation, I've recently men get shot in the back of the head by their woman. I referenced this last night and had the Facebook Live. They forgot that it was on. She was literally blaming him for it. You know what I'm saying? So that. We're in a lose-lose situation, so you can walk away from a situation and still catch it. You can be the aggressor, and you got to take your life at your own peril, because at the same time you shouldn't really be trying to get into it with with nobody like that, especially nowadays. But let me just play this real quick because this is the only thing that, like I said, I had an issue with. It's nothing personal towards sister girl and her son, but this is just the law. Let's just kind of look at it for what it really is. So let me see. I don't know if people can see that. It might not be big enough. But it discusses the situations in which you can use deadly force and what's not applicable. What an imminent threat is. Yeah, I know that you guys probably can't see that because I can barely see it. And I got the glasses on.
Yeah, I definitely can't see it. I need glasses.
Yeah. So, but yeah, this is from the website. I'll put the link in there. Because what it's telling what's a reasonable fear, the things that we was talking about, because there is a thin line. What's reasonable and what's irreasonable. And then can you chase somebody after the threat is gone? And they do have things in the Chicago law that stipulates, hey, you can get charged for it, but you don't have to get the full charge for it, because we understand that, this situation was a little bit different, but it doesn't absolve you from the situation all the way.
Bruh, you can't even chase nobody if you're loss prevention for like Target or Walmart. You can't even chase them off the sidewalk.
Yeah. And even the old boy that just got through having that trial about shooting the AR in the car, and he ran down the street or whatever. The only thing that saved him was because his brother was down there, because he'd have been in trouble too. Like I said, I've never seen it where a person can chase a person when the threat is gone and still, finish the job, so to speak. Because even when cops do that, we have a problem with it.
Bruh, we was going crazy. Well, that was just a crazy situation to begin with. But we was going crazy when the two white men chased down Ahmaud Arbery.
Right. Yeah. So I don't know. It's a tough situation. I think like my only solution now is just, as black men, is just ignore everything. We're gonna get punked now. We gotta just take it on the chin. They always say that this is the reason why we internalize things, because there is no solution for us. The only solution for us is survival. So don't listen to this such and such is the most feared the most protected on the planet and all that. Most unprotected, it's us. Hands down. It's always been us. That ain't to say other people don't need to be protected too, but hands down, we're the highest threat. We're the biggest threat. What they say the most dangerous thing was a educated black man. Remember when black men wasn't supposed to make it over 30? I never heard those tropes when it came to women. So, brothers, like my boy Marshawn say, take care of your chicken, take care of your body, take care of your mentals. Take care of your chicken, take care of your body, take care of your mentals. Nowhere in there I said something about some woman or something. That can come. But if you ain't taking care of them things, you're not going to make it home. You got to have them 3 bases covered. It used to be a time where you can work together and get to a certain point. Nah, that's over with now, y'all. So take care of your mental, take care of your chicken, take care of your body. I'm on my soapbox. What about you, Big Cat? Oh, you on mute, bro.
Take care of your mental, take care of your body, take care of your chicken. Ain't nobody else gonna do it. Ain't no more we can do it together. They riding by themselves because they can't.
So now that this is gonna be like wiped under the rug, right? Do you think that now we're gonna maneuver a little different as men, or this is just a ripple in the ocean? It's just a one-time occurrence. Huh? Well, let me ask you this: does it affect how you're gonna navigate when it comes to?
I already had my mind made up ever since I hit that magical number, man. I ain't arguing with nobody. No females, no dudes, no nobody. I ain't got time for no arguing no more, man. All that shit is over and done with. I gotta protect my mind and my pockets and my body right now. I ain't got time to be arguing with nobody. It's arguments lead nowhere and they head nowhere because nobody's listening to nobody. Your voice is out, you shouting out each other. It just don't make no sense, man. So if we can't talk and have a conversation, then we ain't got nothing to talk about.
Facts, man, facts.
Yeah. So I guess that's what it is. Really, just learn how to avoid the argument because it's not worth your life. Even if you're right, you could be dead right. We don't even know what the argument was about. Bro could have been right. Like we saw the frustration in him. Like, come on, man, why you keep talking to him? That stuff happens all the time. And now if we know it's not equal as men, and we know the law is not gonna hold it equally, then we have to make the right adjustment. Just like we know when we get pulled over more proportionately than anyone else, we know that we can't when the police come up, start cussing them out and all that other stuff and hands waving. We know we can't do that. We know we got to have our hands on the steering wheel. We know we got to say yes, sir, and right, can I move? Can I go get this out? We know we got to do all that. It's not right, but we know we got to do all that. So now I feel like it's the same way when it comes to dealing with women, no matter what color they are. This is women. Like, y'all won. Y'all got it. Y'all got it. I don't know what y'all want, but I quit. I'm done. Hey, y'all won. Y'all got me. I'm gonna talk shit, but y'all got me. It's cool. Y'all can have whatever y'all want. Y'all right. Y'all know. Y'all don't need no protection from us no more, because y'all don't need no provision from us no more. Y'all don't need nothing from us. Y'all don't need us no more. So I'm cool. I'm out. I'm done. I'm going all in. I push all my chips in, all in. I'm good because I can't protect shit. I can barely protect myself. So I can't protect y'all for shit. So don't look for me. I'm just gonna, like y'all said, I'm gonna be single all my life, or all that shit y'all be saying. That shit true. I can't fuck with it. I'm good. I'm done. I'm sorry. So is it going to help you? Are you guys going to make any adjustments going forward? Or is just part
man, I really don't. I really don't like my boy Big Chris was saying, man. I don't argue anyway, man. I done heard enough barbershop conversations of dudes saying they just wanted somebody to bump into them, or people saying I wish somebody would when I go out tonight and stuff like that, man. Some people just be on one, period. You know what I'm saying? So the coward tell how the hero died. You know what I'm saying? So I'm cool. I'm cool with that, man. I ain't got nothing to prove anymore, man. I'm 43, trying to make it to 44, man. I got 4 kids and a grandbaby, man. So, man, I'm just trying to make sure, man. I see them keep growing, man. I ain't trying to ego blast try to out ego nobody.
That's real, and I don't ever really see you go up there like that, Casey, either. And the thing about it is, you probably the last person that they want to bump into, because I bumped into you on accident.
Man, hit this man go. Hit this man go.
and I like 250. So I know, like, I was like, you might not want some problems right there. So I feel you right there, brother, that, you know what, this comes to a point in life is the true measure of a man is not how many fights that he wins, but the measure of a man is how many fights he can avoid. And so that's how I've always kind of had that close to my chest too as well. So I feel y'all, but I think that I'm in the middle between y'all two. Like Crutch hot-headed, he ain't as hot-headed as he used to be. I'm in between you and Casey. Like I said, I've never really seen you go there. So if I ever seen you get to that level, I know it's a problem with that person. And John Wick, you all already heard what he said. Y'all call him, he coming in is get down or lay down. So that's how that go.
Bruh, to be honest with you, man, I had to curve it, man, because man, in my early 20s, man, I had a real bad temper, bro. Like a real bad temper. I won't call any names, man. But it was one time, man, a homeboy of mine, he had some issues with his girlfriend, and she was talking real slick, and another dude was talking slick, and they were in New Orleans. And I said, bro, what you want to do? We can go there right now. This, you know what I'm saying? I'm talking about going into New Orleans, into a situation I have no idea what I'm getting myself into, but because that was my homeboy, and he was like, man, his ex-girl and some dude was talking. No, I was like, man, let's go see what they talking about. You know what I'm saying? Like, what's up? Which that wouldn't have been the smartest thing to do. I'm glad that cooler heads, you know what I'm saying, prevailed, you know what I'm saying, in that situation. But that's just going to show you 9.5 times out of 10, nothing good was going to come out of that situation, like, at all. You know what I'm saying? So it takes maturity, man, because, you know what I'm saying, like I said, some people just be having a gun like, man, like, you know how some people is, man, I can't wait to put these new shoes on and show them off.
Right.
Or I can't wait to, you know what I'm saying, to drive my new whip with my rims on it, you know what I'm saying, around the block, whatever. Some people had them guns on them and stuff and be waiting for somebody to step on their shoes or to bump into them by accident and be ready to shoot them. We had an incident when it was like about 4 or 5 months ago in the club where a dude shot a guy for bumping into him. And they was talking about in the barbershop, they were like, the dude had already said that, man, if somebody rubbed me the wrong way, I'm laying them down. You know what I'm saying? So you never know, man, when somebody had that mindset, man, and just want to do anything.
Yeah, we need to learn. We probably need to learn how to love each other a little bit better.
You need to learn how to be cool, man. Shit.
Yeah.
We're being so hot-headed. Everybody ain't out to take your manhood, man. Shit, sometimes shit is an accident, bro. You ain't got to be all ready to snap off or something.
Yeah.
It's definitely time to hit the reset button.
It sound like I got bass in or something.
I'm probably the most hot-headed one out of us all, but I learned to control my emotions lately, and it's been lately since I've been able to control them. But shit, I'm still working on it, and I'm 50, so I'm working on it. It'll come together.
Yeah, John, you were saying something?
No. I mean, just in general, man. I mean, like, when you're talking about, we need to love each other and whatnot.
Yeah.
So much deeper than that at this point, man. From so many different social aspects. We could do a whole different show about that. A show about that. One show would take a minimum of a month. We're in a bad place in society.
Yeah, and I don't think it's getting better. That's the sad part. I don't think it's getting better. And that's the hurtful part. And I try to block that part out because as I see things like this, it just lets me know we're going in the wrong direction because there is an agenda, whether people want to admit it or not.
It's wholeheartedly not getting better. For several different reasons and factors, the wrong thing has because the wrong things are feeding. So it's not like not from what I'm watching.
What you doing? Going to go look for the Titanic too? I can barely hear you.
Well, it probably all this noise. I wasn't bullshitting when I tell you I'm sitting on the border right now. I didn't even know it was supposed to rain.
Man, what area are you in, brother?
What's that?
What area are you in, brother?
We're outside of Philadelphia.
Oh, okay. Oh, y'all got that storm that just passed us.
Oh yeah, he just sent me a photo. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
storm.
had a good one yesterday, and then it didn't rain all day, but I mean, it went from a couple spots on the windshield, and then bam, it just came down.
Yeah, I feel shoot. I had to get to the chainsaw this evening, man. Didn't even know a tree had fell up in the backyard.
Man.
Yeah, that's crazy. But yeah, so any last thoughts or anything like this? I mean, because this a wrap for this, y'all. this is like I said, this is part of an agenda that people might not see it, but I do. But whatever, I could be wrong, but I can't be wrong all the time. So it's disheartening. It's terrible that you gotta get put in a situation. A little 14-year-old. He didn't call the body. Hopefully, he don't become a rapper. I don't know.
Oh goodness,
It's
that
Chicago.
drill.
I mean, like you're a product of your environment. You know what I'm saying? Like, never would have thought that a mom would do that, but at the same time, I'm not surprised. And that's sad that I'm not surprised. But I do want to thank you guys for hacking in. You want to run through the sponsors real quick, just off the top of your head, just.
Man, obviously it's brought to you courtesy of the 2020 Podcast LLC. Please say the LLC. Be sure to click on our Facebook page and subscribe to our YouTube page, man. Make sure you do that. Once again, that's the 2020 Podcast LLC. Make sure you go to the website www.shopblackrenaissance.com, man, for all the new drops, man, all the dope gear. Protect the culture, do it for the culture. You know what I'm saying? Make sure y'all check them drops out, man. They're dropping new stuff every other week, man. Also, fellas, you try to get that beard right, man. Try and get your beard velvetized. Make sure you go to the website www.blackboxgrooming.com, man. And for all your beard needs, beard oil, beard butter, it's all natural, all organic. So you ain't got to worry about 10 years from now you got a baby fish growing out the back of your neck because you use something that you weren't supposed to use in the product. Also, man, if you're in the Mobile area or the Gulf Coast area, period, man, make sure you come on down to Mobile, Alabama, 105 North Jackson Street, in the heart of the entertainment district, downtown Mobile, and hit up Canary Bar, man. Their doors open at 5 o'clock Tuesday through Sunday. They got something going every day from Taco Tuesday to after work Wednesday, man, to R&B Friday. I mean to Trap and Sing Thursday, man. They got something every day, man, from Tuesday to Sunday. Doors open at 5. So make sure y'all check them out. 105 North Jackson Street. That is Canary Bar, man. Also, if you're in the market for buying a house, selling a house, buying land, selling land, trading land for land, trading a house for a house, man, make sure you get with Rosalind Spencer with Keller Williams Realty, man. She will put you in the know-how, man. Her information is on my page. If y'all need to look her up, man, she would definitely hook you up. If you need, man, from couple shoots, sexy shoots, graduation shoots, getting your degree shoots, whatever kind it is, man, make sure you go to K Marie Photography, man. She would definitely, man, hook you up with a smile on her face, man. So make sure that y'all check her out at K Marie Photography, man. And this was definitely brought to you by an EBH Productions.
There it is there. I don't know where this cat done went.
Yeah. I wonder why like, what's going on.
You ready? Here you go. Here you go. You ready? You ready?
EBH Productions.